Good morning. It's the Cockney News Channel here, and I hope you are all well, and thank you for joining me today. So, what will we be talking about today? Well, anyone who knows me will tell you that I'm not one to gossip too much when it comes to anything to do with the royal family. But today, I will be making an exception. And why might that be, I hear you ask? I will tell you why. It's because I have been amusing myself with the ongoing hilarity surrounding the inevitable demise of those two former royals out in California and their latest attempts to garner any kind of support for their personal balance sheets and their failing relevance. Not that they had much in the first place, in my opinion. But before we discuss the wider issues behind their decline, I must comment about the appalling behaviour of a Talk TV host yesterday when he interviewed the veteran royal commentator Angela Levin regarding the way Harry and Meghan are being treated and allegedly trolled. Angela wrote a royal biography about Prince Harry several years ago. She spent 18 months or so in his company, was welcomed with open arms, and it would be fair to say that she struck up a trusting relationship with Harry over that period. And so few would claim, therefore, that she did not have a real insight into the psyche of that ginger idiot. Angela hung up during a live interview after being slammed by Talk TV presenter JJ Anisiobi. Angela Levin appeared on the show, that was April the 22nd, to discuss Meghan Markle's new business venture after she unveiled her new strawberry jam last Monday. But the conversation didn't quite appear to go as planned, with host JJ calling the royal expert, who has penned 3 books on the royals, by the way, a troll. In response, Miss Levin simply said, "That's very rude," and she hung up. And I watched the whole interview. And whilst Angela is programmed by default these days to expect to be able to ridicule Harry and Meghan, and is generally given a sympathetic ear by both Talk TV and GB News hosts, JJ wasn't having any of it yesterday. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't like it one bit when the current generation of broadcasters just toss puffball questions and never challenge their guests. But it's another thing altogether when the host, who in this case is a man of colour, clearly has his own agenda, unconscious bias in favour of Meghan and Harry, and quite frankly, set Angela up by trying to claim he was challenging her. No, he didn't. He was baiting Angela, which was clear for all to see. Now, I've watched JJ for quite a while when he appears on Talk TV and often shares a platform with the likes of Mike Graham and Kevin O'Sullivan. And whilst he tends to position himself as playing devil's advocate for the woes of the Montecito Whingers, I have observed his passive-aggressive sniping where he hides behind a mask of jollity. He hasn't been fooling me for one moment, and it was most clear yesterday that he's been waiting for some time to have a go at a royal commentator, and he ambushed Angela at first opportunity. He dressed up his attack dog strategy as challenging the narrative of the royal biographer and accused her of being nothing more than a troll herself. He had also intentionally chosen footage to support his claim that Angela was wrong to say that Harry was always led by the nose, where he and his production team have shown just about only 3 or 4 pieces of footage where Harry was standing by Meghan's side, despite so many of us having seen footage over the years where Harry is being shunted to one side by Meghan or being left in her wake and having to play catch-up. Isn't it funny how so many people of colour on the TV do exactly what they claim white people do by succumbing to their unconscious bias, and no matter how egregious the behaviour of the so-called Duchess of Sussex, they take and support her position simply because she's a mixed race. JJ, he was on full display yesterday, and you were not challenging Angela, you were intentionally baiting her and had contrived your selective footage to support a misleading narrative. To be fair, Angela saw what you were doing pretty darn quick, and I'm surprised that she didn't cut you off much earlier, to be honest. So moving on then, what are we to make of this whole Jamgate saga which is going on right now? To be fair, I've mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, the entire jam strategy is pathetic, ill thought and with zero business acumen behind it. But as we are so fixated with the Montecito Moaners by giving so much publicity to their woke effective initiatives, are we not achieving what Mick Jagger once said when he smugly told a reporter, "I don't care what you say about me, just keep saying it." As I say, Meghan has zero business acumen, but as the global media would still be commenting if all she did was to open an envelope, she might just win the PR war as far as the commercial element is concerned, simply because of the sheer level of exposure we are all giving to this lamentable product. Don't get me wrong, the Jam initiative will undoubtedly die on its arse, as everything else does with these two. And as far as Meghan's new lifestyle, cookery, and friendship production is concerned, I'll be most surprised if it even has a pilot aired by Netflix, let alone a whole series. I mean, she hasn't got any real friends, has she? So it's going to be pretty darn quick to lecture the rest of us on friendship. She just pisses everybody off eventually. The same fate will most certainly happen to Harry's series about polo. I mean, what are Netflix really up to? Are they so dumb that they fell for all the woke BS from the pair and continue to do so? Or are they playing a clever game of rinsing the pair for all the gossip about the royals? Where the Netflix has cashed in on two numpties dishing the dirt and measuring it as a success, which it was, of course, if you only measure success by the box office. But now they are allowing the two to destroy themselves by airing two shows which the executives must already know will bomb after any initial viewing interest, which will inevitably be used to generate yet more criticism and has been overtaken by sheer boredom. However, don't be surprised if neither show actually gets to see the light of day, simply because, and if for no other reason, Meghan will be impossible to work with and any creative or original production elements will be interfered with by a narcissistic control freak. I would imagine that even the polo production will be impeded at all levels by Meghan to make sure that the narrative doesn't reflect badly on her perception of herself and that she can enable the whole production process. And talking of enabling, can someone please explain why so many wish to enable Meghan with her ambitions for total world domination, whereby their association with a failing project can only reflect badly back on them? Mind you, anyone who has studied the avaricious nature of the narcissist and sociopathic mind will know that they always somehow manage to get inside the minds of what appear to be, on the face of it, intelligent people, only to then drill parasite-like into the consciousness of such enablers, to a point where, no matter how many times the narcissist fails, destroys, or gaslights, these people crave to be part of their cult and will blindly defend their abuser in the name of doing work for the greater good. It is telling, however, that so far only a few receivers of the jam in a basket with peeling labels, sour lemons, and withering flowers have been overtly endorsed and responded to. I wonder how many of the remaining 50 have back channels to each other where the conversations have taken place along the lines of, "What do these two morons take us for? We're not going to be promoting any of this." This is the Cockney News Channel. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, stay happy.